Hello everyone, welcome to Charts and Chill, the first video. And I wanted to make a little Bitcoin video because of the price action that just happened. And yes, don't worry, I am still going to cover everything separate, like trends and volume and candlesticks and more. But I'm going to try to visualize everything I say with drawings in the chart, so hopefully it will still make sense even without that knowledge. So here we have Bitcoin against the US dollar on Bitstamp, and Bitstamp is the exchange. Doesn't really matter for now, but as you can see, I've made some purple boxes, and these represent ranges. Now a range, basically the price goes in waves, right? And the wave could go up, could go down, which represents an uptrend, downtrend, or ranging. Now on the bigger scale, like here, I'm on the daily chart, so every little candlestick, the green and the red bars here, equals 1 day. Now usually on the bigger picture, as you can see here, it's kind of waving, and usually between these ranges you have a strong impulse, like here. So a range is basically the price is moving in the same range for an extended period of time. And then when it breaks out above or below, that is called a breakout. Now this is important not only if you want to be a day trader, but also if you want to invest, because it basically shows where most people have bought and sold, which means there's a lot of volume, a lot of money. And if I take this tool over the chart, you'll see what I mean. So this is basically the volume based on the price levels. And the volume, again, is money spent buying or selling Bitcoin. And where the mountain is taller, that's where the more money is. And as you can see in the ranges, there's a lot of money. And in this pulse/breakout, there's not a lot of volume. Now you saw what happened when we lost the bottom of this range. We went down pretty quickly and people started panicking. But you should not panic. And what I see a lot is people panic and they sell here, they sell here, they sell here, and then boom, we're back up, and then they sold, and then they might say, well, this just isn't for me, or they buy right now, even though they sold all the way down here. So they bought high and they sold low, even though you're supposed to, obviously, buy low, sell high, so you make a profit. Now again, why are these boxes important? And basically, the price moves to where there is money, right? So if you buy and you want to sell, someone else has to buy it from you, if that makes sense. So the price automatically kind of goes to sell and buy orders, and day traders profit from these movements. Now let's forget about this for a second and let's just move to what is happening now, because that's what this video is about. Now again, on the daily, you can see the range forming, and then we were kind of in the middle of nowhere here. There was a lot of sideways movement in the chart, and this means people don't really know what to do. They don't know if it's going to go higher, if it's going to go lower, so not a lot happens. And then you see they try to go up higher and then they fail because of some point probably in this bigger candle. I'll zoom in a second. But then you fail, and then the second you lose something locally here, they're going down, and there's enough momentum to not even bother that much at the low point here and just go straight down all the way to $78,000 in this case. Now I thought we might dip down to 69K, nice, because that was the start of this last impulse right here. I thought we were going to stop there in the worst case, but that would still be a good thing. Like, we're not going to zero or whatever people say on Twitter. And if we went for that, I would probably think we would go to the bottom of this box. Anyways, that didn't happen, so that's good. This is good. And now we've pumped today a little bit because Trump confirmed the strategic reserves. Other coins were also pumping because of it. And we are back in this purple box, as you can see. So now the question is, what's next? Now let me go to the 4-hour chart instead of the daily chart, so we get more candles. Every 4 hours is one candle instead of every 24 hours, so you get a lot more information. Now the start of the impulse is obviously here. And the way price action kind of works is we went down here, right? So you have to beat this part. Now we did that. We went up, and then we tested back on that level and then we went up, right? So now because of that news, we kind of have an anomaly. So we went straight past this one. We went straight past these two, basically this tiny green node and these 4 nodes. You see the wick, which is like the very thin part here, it did stop there, and then we went down, and then we went up because again the momentum of buyers was higher than the sellers. So then you go up more. Now here we didn't really see anything. You might see that if you zoom in more on the chart, which I will soon. As you can tell, we stopped right here. Now why is that? This point, as you can see, is around that same point. And that's not a coincidence. We had a little drop off earlier and it stopped here. So that was support, which means if this is a level, which we call it, and the price breaks through it, this was resistance, because before this, when the price would hit it, it would go back down because it's a resistance level. There's a lot of volume, aka money, in this case a lot of sellers, and then once you break that level and you go back to it, it becomes support. Because again, there's a lot of money here, so a lot of buyers in that case. So now these levels of resistance are now technically levels of support. And how strong they are, that is a different question. And it does help trying to visualize it with this volume profile. So here is a lot of money, but here is also a lot of money. So you don't always have to go for the strongest point. Just know that in this whole box is a lot of money. So it's safe to say that in this region, price, once it comes down, it's gonna either jump back up here or jump back up here, or in the worst case, jump back up here. Now I will keep these drawings and I will share updates on the chart in my Discord server for this channel. Please make sure to join that. So that is the downward scenario for now. We shouldn't really be too scared right now because we went up, right? So what's next? Now what's next is this block right here, because again, there's going to be a bit of volume. After that, you can see there's multiple touches here. So there's 1, 2, technically 3, this one almost, and then this whole block. So this is basically, you have one level here, we have one level here, and then if we go above that, we're basically back in this mini range. There's like ranges in ranges, if that makes sense. So this is basically a mini range, if you want to see it like that. So the upward scenario is probably this, and then we bounce off downward. This one, and we bounce off downward, which is very likely. Or this one, which is connected to this one and this one. So that's probably a stronger level, as you can see. Now this one was also all the way back here. So again, and here as well. All these levels are kind of connected to each other, and they repeat to a certain extent because again, there's a lot of money there. So if I would draw this over this whole region, I think we'll see volume in the spots. There you go. There's the first one. There's another spike right here, which makes sense. Again, this was touched a lot. And then there's another spike right here in volume, which is again a lot of money. And then this one, I didn't even go here yet, but I would basically draw it around here. So I would be either a little bit wrong in terms of where the volume is or was exactly. You can see before I even knew where the volume was, I knew where the price is likely to bounce back down. And that is not guessing, because a lot of people think trading is guessing, and it is in a way, but it's not a 50-50 chance because you base it on facts from the chart, from the past. And by doing that, you basically try to have the best buying or selling entries, which is basically where you sell or buy, taking the least amount of risk. So the people that panicked on the way down, they are, let's say, selling here or they're buying here. Now, if you bought here, I could kind of imagine that, but maybe not as a trade. I would probably wait for it to bounce back up once. Basically, people buying where the price didn't really show any resistance before, that is not smart because the price will likely not show support in that area as well, because there's not a lot of money / volume involved. So this is my short-term future guesswork, if you want to call it that. But before I sign off, I want to show you what it looks like when we go to the 15-minute chart. So every candlestick is 15 minutes instead of 4 hours. Again, zooming in, more details. You start with the higher time frame to see what type of trend you're in. And then if you want to trade, you zoom in more and more and more until you're comfortable with that time frame. You can tell we were going down, right? And then at some point, just like here, the downtrend stops. And that happens, you have a high and you have a low, right? High and a low. Then you have a lower high and then you get a lower low, aka a downtrend, right? Downtrend. Now at some point, as you can see here, this was the high, this was the low. We got a higher high, we got a higher low, and then another higher high, another higher low, and then we went up. So it's a downtrend unless you get a higher high and then a higher low. And then you probably will get another higher high, another higher low, etc., etc. An uptrend. So this is like a trend reversal. In this case, we have gone above this last drop-off point, which was resistance, right? We finally broke through resistance and then it became support. Listen, pay attention. It became support right here. There you have it. It's literally drawn by the actual candles on the chart. So this was resistance. We broke through resistance and we tested back on it on the high part. That wasn't enough. We tested back on it. We didn't go through because there was support. And then we kind of grinded upwards, which was a little weird. But then we lost momentum here, which was our last high, which is a local resistance. We lost it, so we went to look for a higher low because we did beat this high, right? Again, high, low, higher high. We went to look for a higher low. Now you might be wondering, why this point? Why is that point where the pulse up started, right? Price action is not always perfect. You do have this wick down here. You do have, let's see, again, price action is not perfect, but it's probably based on this resistance, you know, where we've built up volume because the price is there, right? And then we built it up here, but you want to keep the higher low. So people start getting in and then the news came out. So that's probably why it's not as clean of price action. And then we went up. So now you can see we're starting to go down a little bit. If we zoom in a bit more to the 5-minute charts, you can see we have a high, we have a low, we have a lower high, we have a lower low, lower high. We're making a lower low as we speak. Now the question is, where is this gonna stop? Now what I think is we're going down until here, and then we either bounce up or we lose this and bounce down on it because from support, we went down to support and it becomes resistance. Then here we bounce up or we go lower, either here or deeper. And if we lose that, back to basics in the worst part. Now you can even go to the 1-minute chart and you'll see it even clearer what is happening. But the 1-minute chart for trading, in my opinion, is very stressful. I usually like to trade on the 5 minutes or the 3 minutes if I am day trading / scalping, which is like the tinier trades. Now, when I zoom back out to the 30-minute chart, you can actually see my bounce backs are actually based on the price action over here. You know, you have the higher part over there and you have the lower part over there. Correlates with these two, and then this part correlates with this, and then obviously all the way down correlates with the start of the impulse, but also this low. Now, if we draw the volume profile over just this impulse, I mean, how much more clear can you have it? It's right there. It's right there. And the volume, this is just the volume of that impulse, so this is not really set in stone, but you get my point. Where there's movement that is not just a straight line, there's more money, which means more resistance or support. So long story short, if you're investing like me in Bitcoin, again, don't invest all of your money. Just invest money you can afford to lose. and don't invest all of it at once. Because if the price goes down and you've already invested everything on the highest price ever, then you can't invest more on a lower price because you already invested everything. And if you invested some of it and you do go lower, you can invest some more. And if you go even lower, you can invest some more. But if you go higher, you can take some profit. That's basically how I've done it for years. Just know when you're in a downfall like this, you don't want to invest in the middle of nowhere. Now this was kind of in the middle of nowhere, but to be fair, we already dropped like 19% from that point. So you could also just invest every 10% it drops or whatever you want at the first of every month. DCA it's called. Just remember, where there's movement, there's money. So anyways, for the people that were panicking, I hope this helped you out a little bit. And again, I think Bitcoin is not done with creating a new all-time high yet. Again, nobody can predict the future. Don't fall for those people saying, yeah, 2026, 200K Bitcoin, or 2026, 10K Bitcoin price. Nobody knows. You just have to look level for level, or in this case, range to range. And if we go back into this purple box that is now invisible because it's a mess with all the drawings, I think we're going to see a new all-time high. And if we bounce back down from this point, I think we might still see 71 to 69K at best, and otherwise 58K. But again, we're not there yet, so I'm not going to worry about that yet. This is kind of a make or break moment, so yeah, I'll probably do a follow-up video when we get to this high point or low point, so don't worry about it. So yeah, that's all. This should have been a very short video. I'm sorry, but please make sure to subscribe, like, and comment down below what you think about this. And please join our Discord server where I share some goodies about charts, investing, and just chatting with others, asking questions, etc. Now that's all for me. Peace out, guys. See ya.